one thing that I found in all of my travels was that all of the Africans, not only the Africans, but the Asians and the Muslims, look upon us as their long-lost brothers.
There's black churches and there's white churches, and that's racism.
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead, yes.
Okay. I understand that the mainstream Islam means Sunni Muslims in America would look at Louis Farrakhan and Nation of Islam as heretical. How would Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam look at Sunni Muslims?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. That's a very good question, because that kind of question is not usually asked. People always try to see how deviant is Farrakhan from mainstream Islam. But the question that you raised, you see, here you go to the sociology of the Afro-America. The Nation of Islam philosophy really is the mirror opposite of the Christian identity movement. I don't know whether you're familiar with that movement. The Christian identity movement is basically in the Midwestern part of the country. You may find some fringe elements in the northwestern part of the United States. These are white Americans who see Christianity in racist terms. And of course, the Nation of Islam is the mirror opposite of that. I mean, Nation of Islam, that's why I say that I will reserve for the question and answer period the theology of the Nation of Islam. There are a lot of Americans who don't really understand the theology of the Nation of Islam. Maybe they never heard about it. But if you read people like C. Eric Lincoln, who is an African-American Christian, who wrote his dissertation many years ago in Boston on the Nation of Islam, and many other books that have been written about the Nation of Islam, you will get the theology of the Nation of Islam. The theology runs like this. Unlike the Christians or the Jews or the Muslims who believe in monogenesis, that all humans came from Adam and Eve, they have a polygenesis theory of origins. They believe that a black scientist by the name of Yaqub created white people. And that, you know, like on the moon, that's part of their theology. That may be very weird to Americans, but it's the theology of the Nation of Islam. And they teach their followers that white people are devils, because this black scientist called Yaqub created this mutant creature who has been given 6,000 years to rule. And in terms of their conception and their cosmology, the 6,000 years are running out. That's what they believe. And you know, like, there are many people hear about Farrakhan, but they don't understand their belief system. Now, the Nation of Islam is heretical because that is not an Islamic teaching. Islam shares the same theological premise as the Christian and Jewish faith, that all humans are children of Adam and Eve, and that they have a brief appointment in this life and they will die. And of course, this is more true of Christians and Muslims, that on the Day of Judgment they will be resurrected and they will be judged for what they have done on this earth. One other point of divergence between the Nation of Islam and Orthodox Islam, and Farrakhan would say the Orthodox Muslims are either deceived by the white people in the United States, or they are bewitched to the point that they accept their lies and distortions, because if they know the truth, Farrakhan style, they would not be fooled by the devil, because for them, white people are devils. And so in their conception, the Muslim Americans, from especially immigrants, and they say it, these immigrants are fools, they don't know the truth. So I mean, you know, like, if they know the truth, they will be like us. That's what they teach their followers. So they feel that the Muslim immigrants from Pakistan, from the Arab world, from Africa, from Bosnia or anywhere else, who want to be part of American society are really misguided, and they are not given proper understanding of reality. So they have this notion that Farrakhan will teach his followers. If you buy their paper, The Final Call, you read the back of their paper, you will see it there. It's stated clearly. That's their belief system. Yes, please.
So do they only, and I want to make, do they only have prejudice against white people, or is it anyone that's not black?
Well, no, they are against, for them really, you know, in their cosmology, there are only two races, black and white.
So anyone who is not Caucasian is...
Yeah, I mean, they would say that the Chinese and all those people, they're just really You see, the theology of the Nation of Islam is very strange to many Americans. But that's their theology, yes. And you see, and the Orthodox Muslims find themselves at loggerheads with the Nation of Islam philosophy because it negates Orthodox Islam. You see, because in Orthodox Islam, evil is identified with the devil. Just like in Christianity, Satan or Lucifer or Beelzebub, as in Catholic terminologies. But you see, in there they have racialized evil in their conception. Now that was one thing that Malcolm X realized towards the end of his life, and he changed from that old conception to accept Orthodox Islam. Now there are some people who are saying that Farrakhan is moving away from that, but personally I'm very suspicious. I don't see the evidence beyond reasonable doubt. He has to come out like Malcolm did and say, I was mistaken and I accept Orthodox Islam. Now if he does that, the Muslims will embrace him as somebody who repented for his sins and his shirk, because the moment you begin to elevate a human being to the status of God in Islam, you're committing shirk. That is making partnership with God. And that is the greatest sin you can commit as a Muslim or as a human being. You see, and that is one of the fundamental disagreement between Islam and any other religion that does not believe in one God only. And making God, by developing a polygenesis understanding of human origins, and then at the same time racializing it, the Nation of Islam is taboo among Orthodox Muslims. And that's why Farrakhan is a theological leper among Muslims. Yeah. Any other question? Well, I think I can say thank you very much.